Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Pre-calc, Mr. Printrack here. What up? All right, let's talk about equations of lines. Pretty basic stuff here, but worth going over because a lot of stuff we do, even when we get into some high-tech calculus stuff, deals with equations of lines. All right, so there are, I know it says 1, 1, 1, but there are 3 different forms that you can have an equation of a line. Every Joe Schmo loves slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Really nice for graphing, I get it. Start at the y-intercept b on the y-axis and then follow the slope. But honestly, it's a terrible form, if you ask me. Number 2 is standard form. Sometimes it's just we need to be official, but it's really not an often used form. But standard form has the x and the y on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is your constant, your one value that doesn't have a variable attached to it. And the a, b, and the c technically have to all be whole numbers, no fractions or decimals. So if you have a fraction decimal, you got to multiply everything to get out of that. But whatever, it is what it is. It's decent form. Obviously, it takes really 2 steps to turn standard form into slope-intercept form. All you got to do is subtract the ax to the right-hand side and divide everything by b, and then boom, the y is by itself. But if you ask me, the best form for creating equations is point-slope form. It's really awesome. All you need is a point. We'll call it x1, y1, and a slope. That's it. Then you just fill everything in. So it's y minus the y value from your point equals m, your slope, times x minus the x value from your point. And then you're done. Now, if you want to go from point-slope form to slope-intercept form, you got to do 3 things. Distribute the slope and add the y1. Actually, I take that back. There's only 2 things, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that all 3 forms are great. Any one of these forms can be morphed into the other. But the best form when your job is to create an equation from scratch is point-slope form. Self-explanatory. You need a point, you need a slope, that's it. So here's a graph example, right? Now, if you have a graph, I'm not going to lie, the best form is slope-intercept. All you have to do is find your intercept and your slope. So the intercept is pretty obviously 4, so that's what we're calling the b value. And then to find the slope, you just have to figure it out from there. So basically you find 2, I call them good points, right? 2 good points. A good point, or I also call them bullseye points. It's my own little trademark. A bullseye point is a point like right here, 2, 8. It falls right on the bullseye. There's no doubt that the x is 2 and the y is 8. It's perfect, right? This right here is not a bullseye point right here because you're like, I don't know, is that maybe it's 0.8, 6, or maybe it's 0.9, or I don't know, maybe it's 1. Maybe it's 1.1. You just don't know. Bullseye point, you know for a fact what it is. So obviously that's the y-intercept, 0, 4, and then here's my other bullseye point, 2, 8. So then I can understand, okay, I went up 4, that's the numerator, and I went to the right 2. So the slope is 2. Oh my gosh, crazy, right? So there's the slope. Very easy, 4/2, 2. So we get y equals 2x plus 4. Very, very simple, not difficult at all. But if you're asked to find the equation of a line when you're just given 2 points, oh, you might say, oh, I don't know what to do. I wasn't told any of this. I was given standard form, slope-intercept form, and point-slope form. Whoa, 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 whoa. We actually have 2 points, and with 2 points, you can find a slope. And then you can use either one of them to get point-slope form. So once you have 2 points, I'm really hoping everybody knows how to find slope. You do y minus y on top, so I'm going to do 2 minus -2. On the bottom, I got to follow the same order, -1 minus 4. Now, you could have went second point minus first point, and you'd get the same answer, -2 minus 2, y minus y, and then 4 minus -1. Doesn't matter, but you got to stay consistent. Please do so. You'll get the same answer no matter what. On top, we get 4. On the bottom, we get -5. And then over here on the top, we get -4. On the bottom, we get +5. Remember, I talked about in another video, it doesn't matter where the negative is, top, bottom. It just can't go on both because if they're both negative, then you got yourself a positive. So the slope is -4/5. Now, to get to point slope form, you just need 1 point. You don't need 2 points, just 1. So pick whatever point you want. I'm going to go ahead and pick this first point just because it was first. So it goes y minus the y value, which was 2, equals the slope, -4/5, times x minus the x value. Done. Easy. And then again, y minus 2 equals negative 4/5. The only thing I'm going to do is minus a negative is a positive. If you saw that coming ahead of time, you could have just put that and not have to save yourself a little bit of writing. So be careful. If the directions say leave in point slope form, don't add the 2, don't distribute, just leave it right there, which is a form I happen to love. All right, let's do another one just to make sure everybody is aware how easy this is. So again, find the slope first. I'm going to go second minus first, so 4 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. Very easy. That's 3/2 as my slope. And I'm going to use the second point this time just for fun. Y minus the y-coordinate of 4 equals the slope of 3/2 times x minus 3. Awesome. Again, please note, if you're asked to leave it in point slope form, leave it just like that. Don't change anything. Now, if you're asked to go to slope-intercept form, well, yeah, you got to do a little bit of distributing. Yeah, you got to add the 4. It's not that hard. In fact, I'll do it real quick just because I love you. So let's see. I got y minus 4 equals 3/2 x minus, let's see here, 3/2 times negative 3 is negative or minus 9/2. Then you got to add the 4, and now I got to deal with some fractions. Ugh, gross. I got to add 4. Well, let's look at 4's 8/2. That way we have a common denominator, right? I got negative 9/2, and I want to add 4. That's 8/2. So come on, 8/2 is 4. Easy. Come on, you guys could do that. And then negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1/2. Boom, there we go. Oh, what if the question wants you to get to standard form? Oh yeah, remember standard form wants no fractions. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. I'm literally going to multiply everything by 2. That's the common denominator. And I get 2y equals 3x minus 1. And then I got to subtract the 3 over. Negative 3x plus 2y equals the constant negative 1. Sorry for the messiness of my handwriting. But boom, there's standard form. To be honest, I'm not going to ask you to go into standard form. Probably ever. I can't promise it'll never happen. But I love point slope form. Just think about that. All right, now don't forget about special types of lines. Okay, so horizontal lines, just like the horizon, they run like this. Horizontal lines are y equals a number. That's it. There's no x whatsoever. And that's because the slope is 0, right? The slope of a horizontal line is 0. So if you have 0x minus 3, well, in this case, it doesn't matter what the x is. 0 times anything is going to always be 0. So y equals negative 3. So a horizontal line is always of form y equals a value, a number. And that's where it tells you that the line goes. Pretty easy. Now, vertical lines technically have a slope that's undefined. There actually is no slope. Vertical lines look like this. They go straight up. Well, that's not really straight up and down. Sorry. My penmanship is bad. There's a slightly better vertical line. So vertical lines are x equals a number. There's no y whatsoever because you can't even put it into slope-intercept form because there is no slope. It's undefined. That doesn't even make sense. So we do x equals a number. So if x equals negative 1, then on your axis, here's negative 1 right here. And let me grab a different color. Your line is a vertical line crossing at, oh boy, wow. Crossing at x equals negative 1, vertical line just like that. So don't forget about those special lines that are technically lines, but because vertical lines, they are not necessarily considered linear, but I mean, in terms of linear being a line, I guess they're a line. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully you understand these 3 forms, but remember the one I like best, point slope form. Love it, easy to work with. See you in the next video.